Welcome to the 2020 Suncoast Chapter Silver Circle presentation.
I'm Ron McGill. Until next time, keep it wild.
Hey, doll fans, I'm CBS 4's Lisa Petrillo.
I'm meteorologist Craig Setzer, and do you know what you'd do if a tornado like this was headed towards your house?
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2020 Silver Circle Awards. I'm Barbara Alfonso, President of the Suncoast chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and I'm honored to be your host. We wish we could be with you in one room, as we usually are when we recognize our Silver Circle recipients. But this year has brought an unprecedented set of challenges that have converged like no other moment in our lifetime and have forced us to celebrate together but apart. Certainly, our honorees are no strangers to unprecedented events. Their journalistic integrity, bringing viewers some of the most notable and extraordinary news stories over the course of 25 years, is nothing short of remarkable. Whether covering hurricanes and their devastating aftermaths, or senseless shootings that took away the lives of innocent children, or watching helplessly as the Twin Towers collapsed. Over the last 25 years, they have also covered news events that brought communities together, from Pope John Paul II's visit to Cuba and the first U.S. tour of Pope Francis, to interviews with world leaders or larger-than-life athletes representing our country in Olympic Games, as well as people from all walks of life sharing their stories. The Suncoast chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences is proud to celebrate the contributions you have made to our industry over the last 25 years. Today marks the 32nd Annual Silver Circle Awards, and we are delighted to add 6 more honorees. Congratulations to all of this year's recipients. Please join me in congratulating 2020 Silver Circle recipient Renee Diles, WALA-TV, Mobile, Alabama. Presenting Renee this evening is WALA-TV account executive and Renee's daughter, Danielle Diles.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing my mother. Not only did this amazingly talented woman raise me, I got to work alongside her for nearly 20 years in the Fox 10 studio. This is where she affectionately greeted me, saying, "Hello, Miss Diles," every time she saw me, and I would say it back. Now, there are some things I could tell you about her work accolades and accomplishments, but what I'd like to share is just a bit more personal. Because I do work in this industry, I can look back now and just appreciate her character so much more. As a child, I would call her at work a lot, just to say, "What you doing?" I didn't know anything about deadlines and the pressures of her job, but she always took my call and chatted for as long as she could. I found out later that she stopped an interview with the mayor to talk to me. She knew I didn't want anything except my mother, and she was always there. Every summer, from my 5th grade year through middle school, she assigned me and my brother her own summer school program. We did not appreciate this effort at the time, but she really is a genius. We were responsible for completing lessons in every subject. She even had her own summer reading list. Now, to make sure that me and my brother wouldn't skim the books and try to pull one over on her, she took the books to work with her. She read them on her lunch breaks, if she got one. She read them in between interviews. She read those books faster than we did and remembered more details, and we had all day, every day to get it done. This just speaks to her tremendous dedication when something is important to her. She's a true leader and a team player. When she began as the lead investigative reporter for Fox 10, dedication is what drove her. She handled with great care and passion her responsibility to present facts. She's a true journalist. I am so proud of her because her stories have truly made a difference in our community. My mother is not afraid. She's not afraid of a challenge. She's not afraid of asking tough questions. She's not afraid to hold the powerful accountable. She has the ability to bring out the best in those around her, the best content for her stories. She's gotten people to give interviews when no one else could get them to talk. It's been said that she could even make a tree talk. But this has little to do with charm. People trust her because for decades she consistently exemplified the art and skill of journalism. She has inspired so many who have watched her throughout the years, and so many in this business, including myself. It is my honor to present to you my mother and this year's Silver Circle recipient, Miss Renee Diles.
When you think of Fox 10, you think of Renee Diles.
Handed down by the National Hurricane Center.
She's been with us through catastrophes like Hurricane Frederick in 1979.
Clouds from Hurricane Frederick are increasing, and Mobile, like the rest of the world, know these skies could become violent at any time. Officials here at the Weather Service predict Hurricane Frederick will come to shore. However, how much damage he does will depend on how well Gulf Coast residents are prepared. Renee Diles, TV 10 Newsbeat.
Renee Diles grew up in Detroit and majored in journalism at Wayne State University, graduating in 1975. She came to WALA in 1977.
I came here in 77 because to work. That was my first reporting job. When you get your first job and you move really far away from home, you know for a fact that now you're on your own. So it was exciting and it was scary, but here I am.
As the first female African-American TV reporter in Mobile 40 years ago, her many years of experience have earned her both respect and recognition, both valuable assets in her news gathering and reporting.
The fact is, I did not plan to stay here very long. My plan was to come here to get the experience that I needed in order to go someplace else or to go back home. But then when I moved here, I met my future husband and I ended up getting married. And so I decided that at the time my husband was from this area and this was going to be where we would live and we would raise our children, and that's what I did.
She's worked with some wonderful news people over the years, from Don Hawes and Don Davis to Nancy Pierce and John Ed Thompson and Chris Carraggio there. She has reported on everyone from Hank Aaron to President Obama, and worked with everything from typewriters to smartphones. She's won awards, including 2 Abby Awards from the Alabama Broadcasters Association, one for her investigative reports on constables, and another on an alleged school cheating scandal.
This example from one student. What we do affects other people and potentially influences other people, just as I was influenced by people sometimes that I didn't even know. So we have to be aware of that, and it's a responsibility, but it's not one that, you know, is burdensome. I mean, I appreciate the fact that people look up to me, and perhaps young people want to follow in my example, and so I just try to set a good one.
She's the mother of 3 adult children, including Fox 10 News producer Danny Diles. Renee also has 7 grandchildren, but Renee also has others who love her, because after watching her for decades, they can see her heart.
I have never known her to be anything but a lady, a reporter, and a person of our community that cared.
We'd like to say thank you, Sister Diles, for all your hard work, for all your dedicated work, and your services in the African American community.
Everyone, we love you. Thank you so much. Come on.
This has really been a wonderful journey that I'm still on now. It is rare for an individual to have the privilege to be able to do something for however long, whether it's 10 years, 20 or 40 years, that they really enjoy doing. And that has been my privilege. First, I want to thank the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences and the Suncoast chapter for this special recognition. I'd also like to thank News Director Scott Flanagan for not only nominating me for this honor, but also for his dedicated support of my work
and the entire investigative team at WALA. Our world is rapidly changing, and it's probably happening a lot quicker than any of us could have imagined. When I was notified of my acceptance early this year, I immediately started making plans for my visit to Fort Lauderdale. But those plans changed seemingly overnight. For the first time, the Silver Circle Awards ceremony is being held virtually. The fact is, every part of our lives is changed in some way. We don't shop the same. A visit to the dentist, the doctor, or even dining out is different. And there's no reason to believe there aren't more changes on the horizon. Amid all the uncertainty we face, however, there's one thing I am sure about, and that's the importance of being informed about what's happening in our changing world. That has always been the job of journalists. Accurate and unbiased information is not easy, but it is vital in a free society. It was my own curiosity that attracted me to the field many decades ago as a high school student. It was an era when many relied on newspaper and television journalists to provide information about local and world events that would impact our lives. Between my 10th and 16th birthdays, it was journalists who brought news to my family and the nation about the assassination of a president, the signing of the Voting Rights Act, the Detroit riots, and the assassination of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. By the time Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon in 1969, I already knew I wanted to be a member of the group of people who brought information to the public. That's a choice I've never regretted. I've retired now and passed the torch on to a younger generation. Their job seems even more difficult. Part of the reason is it's not just about information. Of course, it never was just information. Today, anyone with a cell phone and a social media account can distribute information to a large number of people. That's not journalism. As consumers of information, we must be discerning. Truthful facts, even when they're painful or difficult to accept, can help us all make better choices about our lives, our families, and our country. And our choices today will shape what our world looks like tomorrow. When a phrase referencing the world of tomorrow was used years ago, it meant the distant future. But the way things are rapidly changing, the expression quite literally could mean tomorrow. Who would have thought that in just a few months, the whole world would have changed so drastically? These are difficult times for many of us, but I believe we will get through this. The pandemic that has us social distancing and confined to our homes and communities will not defeat us. The social unrest that divides many and is forging necessary changes in the way we see and treat one another will not unravel the nation. I choose to believe it will ultimately make us stronger. I'm pretty sure it won't be an easy transition. There'll be setbacks and victories, frustrations and joy, and very likely some really tough adjustments we'll have to make. But as we navigate toward whatever the future holds for our free country, I'm just grateful there are dedicated journalists on the front lines keeping us all informed. Thank you again, and good night.
Congratulations to our next recipient, Nicholas Bourne, CBS Interactive, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Presenting Nicholas is News Director, WINK News, and Noticias WINK, Tom Dewar.
Hello from Naples. Nick, thank you for the honor of introducing you to the Silver Circle. Ruth, Nia, Ryan, and Nikayla. Nick is proud to be able to share this moment with you. Nicholas Bourne is what many of us try to be, a person of great personal and professional integrity, someone with empathy, patience, gratitude, and humility. All of these are qualities of Nick Bourne. He is the quiet leader, the calm in the storm. I've had the good fortune of working with Nick 3 times in the last 27 years. There is no better teammate, or more dependable, or caring person. He is the one you want when you're in a tough spot. Whatever the situation, Nick will make it better. And while Nick is about results, it's also clear he cares about the people around him. He may not always show it, but Nick cares deeply. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina ravaged New Orleans. Nick was there leading a team of journalists from Dallas. We were talking on the phone as he drove across the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, 4 lanes running 24 miles under the brutally hot Louisiana sun. Hundreds of Katrina refugees, on foot, desperate for water, shade, and comfort, walked away from the hell New Orleans had become. Nick was in the middle of this. I was hundreds of miles away. As we spoke, Nick's voice cracked a few times, and then he could no longer speak. It took me a while to realize what was happening, and then I heard him start to cry. He composed himself and then told me how helpless he felt, that he could not help them all. How does one become an extraordinary person like Nicholas Bourne? Most certainly Nick has had some tough knocks in his life, but you would never know it. In this moment, we live in a time where people look for a target to hit or cowardly mock others. Winning an argument is more important than being right. Lying is accepted or ignored. Character and moral flaws are overlooked. Nick resembles none of this. Never once in the nearly 3 decades have I ever heard Nick tear someone else down. There's too much integrity there. In a moment, you will see a great video and you will hear from Nick, a man who started humbly and worked and earned his way into leadership positions. But Nick's most important success story is his family. It starts with his fabulous wife, Ruth, who is grace and charm and class. They're the proud parents of Nia, whose artistic and creative talents will, hopefully, lead to a career in dance in New York. Or Ryan, who's a year away from college, and his dream of playing Division I soccer. And Nikayla, who's a year away from high school, and maybe a future career in criminology, though she's got some time to decide. Most of us don't get to see Nick at home. For that is where Nick is the endless source of amusement for his children, simply by being dad. Did you know Nick is known as Dancing Man? Here he is in action. Or that he's an avid gardener. Or that he actually reads the assembly instructions when putting something together. Or that he is the most organized and the neatest packer in the history of mankind. Nick Bourne is an incredible professional and a great and dear friend. Please welcome Nicholas W. Bourne to the Silver Circle.
Nick Bourne first showed an interest in media while attending secondary school in his native Barbados. He convinced the school's drama teacher to let him work on the end-of-the-year play. While most kids wanted to star on stage, Nick preferred a behind-the-scenes role where he could see how everything came together. He not only set up the stage, Nick also ran the audio board. His keen eye for detail made him the perfect choice and laid the foundation for his future career as a photojournalist and news manager.
Beautiful Barbados.
Nick enjoyed a carefree life growing up in Barbados, a small but lovely island surrounded by beautiful turquoise water. He still remembers family picnics and scenic island drives. In 1986, Nick moved to the United States with his parents to Irving, Texas, and found life to be very different. At age 19, he enrolled at the University of Texas at Arlington, with dreams of becoming a sound engineer who would go on the road with music acts. However, the school did not offer such a major, so Nick followed his sister's advice and took up computer science. Boring! Nick found his calling in television production. After his first assignment, create a 30-second trailer for the movie Lost Boys, he was hooked. This was way beyond fun. Nick became convinced that a journalism career was his true calling. Undeterred by warnings that it would be a long, hard road, Nick was convinced that he would hit the big time right away. Ha! After graduating, he returned to Barbados. But after a brief time working at a hardware store, Nick bought himself a one-way ticket to South Florida. In 1993, Nick finally got his first TV gig as a production assistant at WPLG in Miami. He was thrilled to work at such a prestigious station, working alongside highly regarded journalists like Ann Bishop, Dwight Lauderdale, Art Carlson, Diane Magnum, and Elliot Rodriguez. Nick learned the ins and outs of studio production, even serving as floor director for an episode of Nightline with Ted Koppel. Mentor Clifton Brown taught Nick how important compelling video was to storytelling. This prompted Nick to go out in the field with some of the station's seasoned photojournalists. Before long, Nick had compiled his own reel, and it landed him a news photographer gig at WBBH in Fort Myers. On Nick's first assignment, he was told to get a quick shot of lottery billboards. So that's what Nick did. He went out on US 41 and got it. One shot, lasting all of 6 seconds. Hey, nobody said he couldn't follow instructions. The assignment manager pulled him aside and told him that would not be enough for a 30-second PO. Well, Nick got it, and after 9 months there, he paid a visit to WPTV and was promptly hired as a videographer. After 2 years of shooting stories up and down the Treasure Coast, Nick was promoted to chief photographer. Suddenly, he was responsible for a team of photojournalists, many of whom with much more experience than him. His motto quickly became, "Don't ask anyone to do something you wouldn't do yourself." Under Nick's leadership, the team covered some huge stories: Pope John Paul's visit to Cuba, the Versace murder and Andrew Cunanan's takedown on Miami Beach, and the Value Jet airline crash. Then in 1998, Nick was rehired at WPLG to cover Broward County. He often worked with reporter Jeff Winder, who knew more old-school R&B songs than Nick. Nick's new WPLG family now included veteran journalists like Mel Taylor, Peter Dench, Mark Schumacher, Vicki Fraser-Williams, and the late Todd Tungman. More huge assignments followed: the Hanging Chad presidential election and 9/11. In 2003, Nick was offered another management gig, but there was a catch. This job was in North Texas, but he couldn't pass up a chance to work again with another mentor, Tom Dorr. At KTVT in Dallas, Nick would serve as the news operations manager. Once again, he'd be in the eye of the storm for some major stories and major hurricane coverage. 4.5 years later, opportunity came knocking again. Nick would return to South Florida as assistant news director at WFOR TV. Now a father of 3, Nick was again thrust into the spotlight, coordinating coverage of some of South Florida's biggest news and sports stories, like Super Bowls and the Miami Heat's championship run during the Big 3 era. Nick spent a dozen years at WFOR, building upon his reputation as a dependable leader who could be counted on to ensure the station looked its best when it mattered the most. And he could not believe he got to work with the one and only Jim Barry. Oh, my bad. Let me get back to the script. Nick is a 4-time Emmy Award nominee and a 2-time winner. Now he has moved on to another cutting-edge opportunity as the senior coordinating producer and senior director at CBS Sports HQ, located in Fort Lauderdale, which is the national headquarters of the CBS Sports digital division. Nick lives happily in Lake Worth with his wife Ruth and their 3 children, Nia, Ryan, and Michaela. If there is anyone who has lived his American dream, it's Nick Bourne. Barbados is where he got his start, but it is in South Florida where this proud photojournalist and news manager continues to make his mark.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, Tom. Tom has been a source of inspiration for me over the last 27 years. When I first started at Channel 10 in 1993, my first job was a production assistant. And one of my first responsibilities was to rip scripts, as it was called back then. For those of you who don't understand what that term means, back then, scripts were printed on 6-ply carbon paper. and my job was to separate the pink, the green, the white. You get the picture. The pink copy was for Ann Bishop, the green was for Dwight, the yellow was for the producer, and the white, well, that was for me, just in case the prompter broke. But that's another story for another time. Well, the counter that I worked at, ripping scripts, was right outside Tom's large picture window to the newsroom. From my vantage point, I could see all the people that would constantly go in and out of his office and all the phone calls that he would get. From his body language, I could tell if it was a good conversation or not so good conversation. But what I also could see was how he interacted with everyone. And Tom, no matter what the circumstance, always treated everyone with respect and kindness. And most of you may remember from back then, in those days, there was lots of yelling and screaming in newsrooms. Tom wasn't a yeller though. He was always very calm and very measured. He leads by example, and I try to follow that same path every day. Thank you, Tom, for being such a shining example for me of what it truly means to be a decent person and leader. You've heard that I live by a personal motto: never ask anyone to do what you're not willing to do yourself. Well, I really do mean that. But along with that, you should know that I'm willing to do a lot to get the job done. Another person that helped to mold me into who you see today is Clifton Brown. He was my first supervisor. Cliff, as we called him, would always work tirelessly to make sure the Channel 10 studio was perfect. He was always looking for those small details, and he always was trying to anticipate based on what was happening around him. If it was a particularly busy news day with crazy breaking news, Cliff would grab me to help him fill up the water pitchers with cold ice water, and we would top off the anchor's glasses during breaks because he said they were going to be extra thirsty from all that talking. Cliff taught me to look at things from a bird's eye view and then swoop in, take care of the issue before anyone even realized there was a problem. We all have a role to play, he would say, and if we all do our part, we will all succeed. No matter how big or how small the role, it all matters. Success can be measured in so many different ways. Of course, I could never have been successful without my lovely wife, Ruth, by my side. We got married the same year I started at Channel 10, and she has been by my side through it all. She was with me when I moved from the East Coast to the West, and then back again. Then we moved even farther west, and then back again. Sometimes we felt more like those military families that would move every few years to their next deployment city. But she stuck by me through it all, and she's still sticking by me today. She continues to be that voice that tells me what I need to hear, even when it's not what I really want to hear. She sacrificed her own career so that I could reach where I am today. It hasn't been in vain though. We have 3 amazing kids, Nia, Ryan, and Nikayla. And Ruth should take most of the credit for how they've each turned out. I could not be more proud. I know they will continue to do amazing things in the future, and I can't wait to see what those things are. I love you all very much. Most of you know that I'm from a tiny island in the Eastern Caribbean called Barbados. My parents brought my sister and I here after I graduated high school because my dad believed the opportunities in the US were endless. And with hard work and dedication, you can achieve any dream you may have. Well, I never dreamed that I would be here accepting an award from such a prestigious group, and that my name would be listed among the names of so many people that I admire and respect so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be a part of this. I will treasure this forever. Thank you.
Please join me in congratulating our next recipient, Paul Gamache, WVEN, Orlando, Florida. Paul's presenter is Ángel Sepúlveda, Regional News Director, WVEA and WVEN.
Sitting on this chair, it could be a little intimidating for me. My name is Ángel Sepúlveda, Regional News Director for Noticias Univision Orlando and Tampa Bay. For the past 19 years, Paul Gamache has been doing exactly that, sitting on this chair. So that's why for me, it is a little intimidating. Not for what it means. It means that you're going to inform and maybe change somebody's lives by the information you are going to give at that specific moment. That is exactly, once again, what Paul Gamache has been doing for the past 15 years and other years. I'm not going to say it because then people are going to do math and it's going to get nasty. but that's exactly what has been happening. Paul, I remember when this opportunity came to our doors, I immediately said that, Paul Gamache has to be a recipient of the Silver Star Emmy. Immediately we put together a package and it was presented to the Board of Trustees, and it was the biggest presentation of my life. I needed to make sure that it was going to go to you, and it did. And it did. You earned it, fair and square. I remember telling our corporate offices that you have earned this award, and they were really excited. But finally, this is what they have to say.
Hi, Paul. I'm very excited to be here today, talking to you in a different setting, working through the social distancing live, but very excited because today we're celebrating you. That's amazing. It's all these years that you've been serving the community. I cannot imagine anybody better than you to be covering a pandemic. If I'm at home, it will be you, the person that I will trust with information. I'm a big fan of yours. I think you have done so well for the community in Orlando. And today is your day and we're celebrating you. So congratulations. And I hope that we can see you for more and more, many years to come. Besos. Pa'lante.
That's right, Luisa. Trust. It has to be with trust, loyalty, and community. And Paul, you have earned the respect of your peers. You have earned the respect of your coworkers. You have earned the respect of everyone within this Central Florida. Your way of doing things, your professionalism, your ethics, how people look up to you, like me. When I came here in September 24th of 2018 as a director, I immediately, the first person I wanted to sit down was with you. And you know why? I'm very proud of you. And now I hope we can do this for many more years and win many more awards, because my friend, you deserve it. You are the best at what you do. And we at Entravisión, Noticias Univisión Orlando, and Noticias Univisión Tampa Bay are extremely proud of what this means to us, for us, but most importantly to our community. This revalidates the fact that the trust that they have put on us is because of you. You have led the operation for the past 20 years. Although journalists look up to you, you're always checking facts, typos. It's amazing. It's amazing what you do. We have been able to go on coverage in Puerto Rico, for example, and I was, because I am very pro talent, and I was like nervous. You had everything you needed for the riots, for everything that we went through. But we made history. Our coverage with our senior anchor with you in Puerto Rico. We have been doing many things for the past 2 years, and now, like Luisa mentioned, with the pandemic, I wouldn't trust any other source. Not even Noticias Univisión Orlando. I wouldn't trust anybody else but Paul Gamache to tell me exactly what's next. What do I do? You will always be there for your community, and I personally will always be here for you. Congratulations, Paul. You deserve it. You earned it. Embrace it. Own it. And let's take it to the next level. Vamos por más. Check this out.
It all started in sunny Puerto Rico, the island of enchantment. John Gamache, an American citizen from Traverse City, Michigan, graduates from George Washington University and moves to San Juan with other colleagues to start a business there. Soon after, he meets Margie, a beautiful Puerto Rican young lady. They fall in love, marry, and have 3 kids, Janine, Paul, and Michael. Eventually, the Gamache Araujo family moved to Florida, where Paul attended the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Soon after graduating, he landed a job as production technician at the local CBS affiliate. That's where he recorded his first news voice demo on reel-to-reel and sent it to the owner of what would become the first Spanish-language radio station licensed to the city of Orlando. It was 1985. At WONQ, he produced and wrote news, then started anchoring, and eventually became station and sales manager. After 12 years at the station, a new opportunity knocked on the door. Paul joined the local Univision affiliate in 1997, and just a couple of years down the road, the station announced plans to launch the first Spanish-language television newscast in the Orlando market. He expressed his interest in the position, went through the casting process, and got the gig. On April 26, 2001, Noticias 26 was launched, and the rest is history.
Herido de bala quedó un hombre esta noche víctima de un asalto a mano armada. Ya tenemos una depresión tropical, es la primera de la temporada. La suspendida comisionada de Orange, Mildred Fernández. ¿Qué opina usted sobre todo este revuelo que ha causado Pedro Rosselló queriendo entrar al Senado a pesar de que no fue electo y más aún de presidir ese cuerpo legislativo? Hablemos un poco de los 2 años de entrenamiento aquí en el Centro Espacial Johnson.
Paul is known for his signature journalistic skills, asking real, tough questions while conducting in-depth interviews with many political leaders and newsmakers. His passion for the craft, extensive knowledge of his native language, outstanding writing skills, simultaneous interpretation abilities, and ad-libbing skills have proven invaluable in his career, earning him the respect not only from the community he serves on a daily basis, but also from his peers.
Compromiso, Noticias Univisión, Florida Central, avanzando contigo.
Paul has been recognized on several occasions by local award organizations and won his first well-deserved Emmy Award in 2018 in the Informational Instructional category, after several nominations in 2013, 2014, and 2015. Throughout the years, he has been a much sought-after contributor to local magazines, English-language media outlets, and as Master of Ceremonies for prestigious award ceremonies, such as the Hispanic Chamber's Don Quixote Award and Prospera's Success Stories Award. Paul Gamache is a truly high-caliber news professional and mentor for many young Latino journalists and interns that have had the privilege of working in the same newsroom with him. He and his wife Petra have 2 beautiful and talented daughters, Gabby, whose passion for musical theater has taken her to the Broadway stage, and Paola, who's been touring the world stages dancing for well-known artists. As senior news anchor and producer at WVEN, he's looking forward to another big celebration in April of 2021, the 20th anniversary of Noticias Univisión Orlando.
Gracias, and welcome to our home in Maitland, Florida. Thank you to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, Suncoast chapter, for this incredible once-in-a-lifetime Silver Circle Emmy Award. I am truly humbled to be recognized amongst this prestigious group of television journalists. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Ángel Sepúlveda, my news director, for such a memorable presentation and for believing in me and my dedication to television news. And of course, thanks for your leadership and a management style that brings the best out of the entire team. Gracias, Ángel, de todo corazón. I would also like to thank my fellow workers in the news department, present and past. All of you mean so much to me. And I do understand, I appreciate, and I respect everything you do in the newsroom. Somos pocos, pero logramos cosas grandes. Thank you also, Carlos Vázquez, my executive producer, a true professional with whom I have the privilege of working side by side. Thanks for everything you do, including putting up with me. Muchas gracias also to Camilo Diaz, my photog, editor, and technical director, with whom I had the honor of receiving my first Emmy Award. It is always a fun adventure working with you. You know you are more than a colleague, you are a true amigo. Huge thanks to the Orlando Hispanic community for always sticking with me since the beginning of my career back in my radio days. It is an honor for me, and I take it very seriously, to bring you the most important and relevant news day in and day out in Spanish, the language that we are most comfortable in. Es un honor y un privilegio entrar en sus hogares todos los días a través de la pantalla chica, que ya no es tan chica. And last but not least, to my beautiful family, my wife Petra, whom I met in college and has been by my side throughout this exciting journey. And my two beautiful daughters, Gabby, my gorgeous Broadway baby, who also, by the way, lent her musical voice for this piece you just saw. And Paola, the equally beautiful, fierce contemporary dancer. Neither one, by the way, can wait to get back on stage. I also want to thank my sister Janine and my brother Michael, as well as my extended family in Venezuela, all of whom had witnessed the progress of my career and supported me every step of the way. Finally, I would like to dedicate this award to perhaps my two biggest fans, my mom and dad, Margie and John. Neither one of them would miss my newscasts and would call me immediately if they did not see me in the anchor desk to make sure everything was okay. To both of them up there, gracias por todo. Thank you for everything. Los quiero. Gracias. Buenas noches. Salud.
Congratulations to our next recipient, Laurie Jennings, WSBN TV and WPLG TV, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Laurie's presenter is WPLG Local 10 News anchor, Calvin Hughes.
You know, the years really flew by. Nearly a decade we were together. So often in the TV business, on-air relationships are defined by big stories, and we certainly had our share. It began with the BP oil spill, the presidential elections, the announcement of King James coming to the Heat, back-to-back NBA championships covering Cuba, the Pope, and Obama's visits to Havana, and Castro's death. Of course, the big storms, countless hours together, and for the tragic ones, too. The Parkland school shooting, FIU bridge collapse, Pulse nightclub Orlando, the crazy car chases, and the stories go on and on. And again, the big stories, defining moments of our relationship, but as partners, what defined our friendship, our special bond for me, were the moments off here before every broadcast, our conversations in the makeup room, witnessing how much dedication and commitment Laurie has in being the best wife and mother that she could possibly be. Look, Laurie could perfectly put on makeup, go through the homework assignments of Luke and Jake, her twin boys, make sure her husband Josh had what he needed for dinner, race out to the set for the 4 p.m. newscast, look like she's straight out of Vogue magazine, and flawlessly anchor the show, finish at 4:30, and pick up the conversation where she left off with her boys. The woman is a master multitasker, and that takes talent. It's one of her many gifts, and she is a blessing, too. I was blessed to have her as a partner. In 2010, she had been the solo anchor at Local 10, the face of our station, the matriarch of our family. Yet when I came on board as her co-anchor, no drama, no issues. A true professional always. I was lucky at that time. She was graceful at that time and continues to be. Did we laugh? Yes, of course. I could go on and on with our babysitter stories. We changed babysitters like they were socks. I have so many stories. She's probably laughing right now because she knows that those were so funny. But bottom line here, the universe brought together two people with very different backgrounds. And as I mentioned before, a special bond was born. So congratulations, my friend, on 30 years of unforgettable years in TV. Half of them spent at Local 10, nearly a third spent together with me. And again, I was the lucky one because of your grace.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laurie Jennings, live in Washington, D.C. The nation.
Thank you so much for being right here with us.
No place gets the heart beating quite like.
It's glad you're choosing to be with us.
I'm Laurie Jennings with our live team coverage. A nation on notice. The president.
The Laurie Jennings we know from the past 2 decades on the evening anchor desk in South Florida.
Laurie Jennings joins us live from Vatican City with the very latest. Laurie?
and traveling the globe, covering breaking news.
In South Africa, from just outside Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Got her start performing in a different venue. Growing up, Laurie's passion to perform propelled her onto the stage, singing and acting from childhood through her teen years.
People were telling me, forget college, go to Broadway.
Fortunately for us, Laurie did not follow that advice, choosing instead to go to Cornell.
And the next thing you know, I saw this microphone to come get trained as a radio DJ or a newscaster. And I just found my way with the newscasting. I just loved it. I loved writing, I loved current events. And for me, it was the right combination of the writer in me and the performer in me.
For Cable News Center 7, I'm Laurie Jennings.
By her senior year at Cornell,
this is Cable News Center 7.
Laurie was working part-time at a local cable station.
If you find that one a little hard to believe, you're not alone.
She seemed to have a spark on camera even then, but she wanted to be really ready for this career.
I'm Kathy Cronenberger. And I'm Laurie Jennings. We're graduate students at Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism.
Congressman Smith will vote against any substitute proposals tomorrow.
With her master's from Northwestern,
The homeless problem just gets worse.
I'm Laurie Jennings, and this is News Brief.
and her training at Cornell,
WKBN.
Laurie quickly landed her first full-time reporting job in Youngstown, Ohio.
Tom Holden, Laurie Jennings.
What was expected to be a simple public hearing this morning.
And being promoted to weekend anchor meant writing and producing the whole show, plus
Thunderstorms right.
doing the weather.
We still have our nice high pressure system there.
But it all paid off.
And probably the one other most remembered highlight.
2 years later, she was on the move to a major TV market.
Cleveland's own News Center 8.
Good evening, everyone. The confrontation happened early today on U.S. Route 250. I was morning anchor, I was weekend anchor, I was their specials reporter.
Laurie landed her first major stories in Cleveland, earned her first Emmy Awards, and produced a 5-part series and a half-hour special
Armenia is the smallest.
on a medical mission to Armenia after a devastating earthquake.
You know everyone around here? Looks like it, huh?
Her award-winning reporting helped launch Laurie's career. To Boston.
I'm Randy Price.
And I'm Laurie Jennings. On this Friday, it is a morning for caution on the roads.
And after less than a year, Laurie's live reports from war-torn Northern Ireland led to Sunbeam Television to bring her from its Boston station.
You are watching 7 News at 10 with Rick Sanchez. Laurie Jennings.
Want the best?
To its Miami powerhouse, WSVN.
Good evening, everyone. The bodies of those killed will be flown to Delaware. Another major story from the night team. First time I saw Ground Zero after 9/11.
It wasn't long before the networks were vying for Laurie, and by 2003, she was off to New York City.
From NBC News, sitting in tonight, Laurie Jennings.
And good evening, everyone. Brian is on assignment. Major traffic closures and detours during the Democratic convention.
Laurie, good morning again.
Good morning to you both. Law enforcement agencies around the nation.
But after 1 year at the network, Laurie and her husband Josh were suddenly expecting. And when Local 10 needed a main anchor, all signs were pointing this couple back to beautiful South Florida.
I found out today I'm having 2 boys, 2 identical boys, and a girl. Can you believe?
Laurie and Josh lost the triplets, but were blessed a year later with the news of twins.
They were 4.5 months early. We spent, 4.5 months in the NICU every single night.
Laurie's identical twin boys were born extremely premature. Luke and Jake barely survived. It was a life event that bonded Laurie with her viewers forever.
Hi, I'm Laurie Jennings. Premature birth is the #1 cause of infant death.
And then as I watched her balance family and her career, she was always on top of her game during her career, but she was also giving that same love and that attention that she needed to for her family.
Laurie Jennings.
It was back to Rome for Popes Benedict and Francis, to Switzerland for Art Basel. Then a heartbreaking trip to join me in Haiti after the 2010 earthquake.
It was just by far the most intense human struggling that I'd ever seen.
A 30-year news career honored by 6 Emmy Awards, numerous Best Anchor distinctions, and the highest praise from every charity where Laurie remains committed.
County Deputy Mayor Maurice County.
Congratulations, Laurie.
And to your future.
And cheers to your next chapter.
Hi, welcome to Stories with Laurie.
As you continue on camera and on stage, representing the very best of South Florida.
Cheers to the next chapter indeed. I've been living it for a little over a year now, and I must say it's pretty special owning my own time and having real time for my husband, our teenage boys, and my parents up north, let alone owning my own face and voice for the first time in as long as I can remember. A friend of mine said to me, "You used to be the news lady, now you're the TV lady." And I like the sound of that. She's right, it's true. TV will always be a part of my life. I've launched my own broadcast media company called Laurie Jennings Live, and I'm really excited to take on some new flexible TV projects and represent a few South Florida companies and nonprofits as their spokesperson. That will be so worthwhile. And the news business, it's a fantastic career, and it does stay with you for life. It's current, it's fast-paced, it's full of adrenaline and deadlines. I mean, you are either addicted to it or it pushes you right out. I remember my first day in a real newsroom. It was WUSA in Washington, D.C., first TV internship. The noise and the smoke were insane. People yelling over the loud manual typewriters, old pizza boxes just decaying everywhere, tons of smoking in the newsroom. I mean, most people would run for their lives and say, forget it. I loved it. I thought, sign me up. This is so exciting. TV news is not for everyone, but some of us just thrive on that adrenaline. And then the best part is being able to help people. Not only when natural disasters occur, like a hurricane or this unprecedented pandemic, but when a viewer calls simply because they can't get help anywhere else and they feel like they know you and trust you. So you make that one call for them and suddenly that family gets help. And that makes you feel really good to be of service and make a difference for people. Calvin and I would get so emotional at times when people would come up to us on the street and stop us and just give us the most sincere thank you for helping them during a crisis, like after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting or Hurricane Irma, when so many of us lost power for weeks, if not months. People were so grateful for all the hours we stayed on the air. They were worried about us, in fact, that we weren't getting enough sleep and we weren't seeing our families. They were so kind. It's a beautiful thing when this business of ours helps us help others and make a lasting impact. And that makes all the long hours and sacrifice worth it. And speaking of Calvin, thank you for your nice words, Calvin, and for being my news husband of 9 years. I have been so fortunate to work with some of the best co-anchors in South Florida, starting with Rick Sanchez, who taught me so much about breaking news, Craig Stevens, who always brought his A game and kept us laughing non-stop, Dwight Lauderdale, well, hello, he's just a legend, Charles Perez, a natural TV talent, and Calvin Hughes, the longest co-anchor of mine in the long list of 16 co-anchors in all. We've covered some of the biggest news stories of our careers together, and he is top-notch, a friend for life. So please raise a glass with me and help me honor all of the honorees tonight for their years of dedication to our industry and for making a difference. Cheers to Natus for this beautiful recognition. I know we're all in very good company now in the Silver Circle, a very elite group. And I hope to see you soon in TV commercials or launching a show, maybe launching my own podcast, who knows, or virtually hosting an event for one of my beloved charities. But don't worry, I'll be socially distanced, I promise. It is a whole new world we're in right now. And most importantly, I just wish you all good health, safety, and good news. Cheers.
Congratulations to our next recipient, Jose Jimenez, WPBT Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Presenting Jose is Jean Talley, Senior Vice President of Engineering, South Florida PBS.
It is my honor to be here with you today to introduce my friend and colleague, Jose Jimenez. Jose is currently the Technical Maintenance Supervisor at South Florida PBS, and I am here to share with you some of his successful story. Jose joined WPBT2 back in 1989. Prior to that, he studied electrical engineering in Bogota, Colombia, his birthplace. After his education, he began perfecting his craft at the National Institute of Radio and TV in Bogota before moving to the United States. I've been privileged and thankful to know and work side by side with Jose throughout his 30-plus year career here in Miami, and have enjoyed witnessing his commitment and dedication to our organization and the communities we serve. Early in Jose's career, broadcast equipment was mostly analog. It was large and clunky, containing numerous circuit boards full of components. Jose was well skilled at maintaining this era of equipment and was masterful at troubleshooting and repairing it to the component level. Due to the complexity of some of the gear, it required as much art as it did skill. The cameras and recorders of the day were based on tape formats, not digital files. And Jose was a maestro when it came to maintaining and repairing anything involving a broadcast tape machine or camcorder. He was the master of all things tape. I can't even attempt to count the number of times that Jose came to the rescue, freeing a master tape stuck in a deck, adjusting a camcorder to record properly, or saving the day in master control when the cart machine would go awry. Jose's contributions helped to usher in nonlinear editing at WPBT. Prior to the editing was performed tape to tape, requiring sizable edit suites and a large collection of equipment. Now we can edit anywhere in the world on a laptop. Jose's talents also extend to our transmission facilities, and his efforts ensure that our transmission plants function properly and that we deliver a signal to our viewers 24/7. During the National FCC Spectrum repack, our transmission facilities had to be totally rebuilt while remaining on the air. Jose's contributions to this major undertaking made this project a total success. As the broadcast industry and technologies continued to advance, Jose's capabilities and talents excelled with them. He was instrumental to our station's transition from analog to digital television. Jose was vital as our station converted from standard definition to high definition, bringing HD pictures and 5.1 sound. And his work continues as he spearheads 4K video production and beyond. But nothing could have prepared us or Jose for what had transpired earlier this year. With the pandemic declared, the country in lockdown, and our broadcast facilities essentially shutting down, this put an enormous strain on our technology team. Jose stepped up again, supporting the efforts to have staff work from home. By mid-March, all staff were transitioned safely, and we have not missed a beat. Today, Jose is recognized and honored for not only his longevity in the broadcast industry, but his lasting contributions and commitment to our local communities. Jose's many years of dedication and devotion have enabled South Florida PBS to deliver on its mission to be the region's most trusted resource for information, entertainment, inspiration, and lifelong learning. Jose's contributions to shows like the Nightly Business Report help to inform and educate our viewers from around the world on the topic of financial news. Changing Seas teaches viewers the importance of protecting the world's ocean and our environment, and Stargazers gives them a weekly view of the heavens above. Jose's unparalleled technical support and expertise continues today, greatly influencing the success of countless local and national productions produced by South Florida PBS. On the technical maintenance team, Jose is my right hand and the go-to guy for many of us around the stations when issues arise. Jose is one of the most conscientious and devoted individuals I have ever met. If there's a deadline to meet, a project to be completed, or a critical piece of equipment that's down needing repair, Jose is the one to look towards to get it done with a smile. Over the past 30 years, Jose has been more than just a colleague, but a true friend. I've relished the many years spent together in the trenches, and I'm grateful for all the experiences and memories we've shared over the years. I'm looking forward to 30 more years, but hopefully not all of them in the trenches. During his downtime, Jose could be found practicing Tai Chi with his group in the park, and when he's not volunteering at his local church or helping friends and family, my sources tell me that he studies classical guitar. It is my great pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Jose Jimenez.
Bars and tone. The unfortunate part of Jose's job is you're calling Jose when you have a problem.
Once he gets sent to the problem, he latches on and doesn't let go until he's solved the problem.
Whether it's computers, telephones.
All those long nights we spent at the transmitter together trying to get it to work.
Every job he approaches is in a very methodical and in a very cool manner.
He's spending hours of his time that should really be spent at home relaxing to get it fixed.
Your work ethic and novel ideas were second to none.
I can't tell you how many times I have seen Jose run from the shop to video, to audio, or out to the studio where there was no video and audio, and during a live national broadcast of the Nightly Business Report. It takes a very special and great talent to fix an airplane when it's 30,000 feet in the air and screaming along at 500 miles an hour. And that is Jose.
There's a lot to be said for that when you're going live nationally, to know that everything's going to work because he's in the building.
You have bailed me out of more trouble than anybody at the station, especially with the editing software. I remember back in the days when a lot of the new platforms were a little buggy, and there were times when I would have never finished on deadline if it wasn't for you.
We studied electronic engineering at the same university in Colombia. Many times I call him to ask for his professional opinion when I run into some technical difficulties that I could not solve.
He would always deliver better results than you even hoped for. He always surprised you.
I can always count on you.
You're like an octopus, from the studio to master control to the edit suites, and when you're not there, we know that you're at that transmitter making sure that South Florida PBS signal is nice and clear for our audience.
And he always looks to the future. We always know that whatever he recommends has been well thought through.
Jose can always be found in the engineering shop with his favorite tools, tinkering with old equipment.
Jose was always famous about at least getting shocked once or twice while working on all the equipment, and all of a sudden you'd hear Jose go, "Aye!"
I really believe that his martial art training probably helped him be the calm in the storm.
One of the things that he was proud of was that no one could push him over. So everybody would come and try and push Jose over, and nobody could budge him. It was like his feet were welded to the floor. And I think about that now and realize that, yeah, Jose had a core strength, an inner strength that carried him through a lot of adversity.
He also had a great sense of humor, and we like to exchange stories.
One of the things that I can tell you that marked my heart very hard with you was that day that we were doing a NBR uplink and I passed out. But I remember you spent a lot of time with me in the emergency room. This is very important. That's make a difference in people.
He is simply the finest human being you could hope to come across.
It's been a real great honor and pleasure to be able to work alongside you. And thank you for always making yourself available. No matter what time of day, early or late, you always pick up the call.
He's always got a smile on his face. He's always willing to help you no matter what it is. And to me, that's gold.
I just want to thank Jose for all the great work he's done over the years.
I'm very proud to be working with you, and the company is very lucky to have a guy like you who never give up.
He made my work possible at times when I thought it would be impossible.
You always go an extra step to making sure everything we need is on par.
So thank you for so many years of dedicated service to our industry.
Your fingerprint is in every aspect of everything we do.
You have no idea just how many shoots, edit sessions, and entire shows you've saved from disaster. Thank you for everything you have helped us with for all of these years.
Congratulations.
You deserve this honor, and I'm so excited for you, and I love taking the opportunity to thank you for everything you've done.
Congratulations on your Native Silver Circle Award.
You are a hard worker, a great engineer, an even better person.
He is honestly one of the kindest people I know.
Thank you for all your help and knowledge over the years, Jose.
Congratulations, Jose, on this well-deserved honor.
I can't think of a better person.
You always help us out. Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
that it couldn't happen to a more deserving person.
Saludos, Jose.
Congratulations on your award.
I can't think of anybody who deserves it more than you.
Congratulations on a great career and hopefully many more years for you.
Muchas felicidades por este Silver Circle Award.
From all of us here at South Florida PBS, a big congratulations to Jose Jimenez on a well-deserved and wonderful Silver Circle Award. Thank you, Jose, for all of your dedication and for all that you do for South Florida PBS.
Let's keep going, buddy.
Congratulations, Jose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In behalf of South Florida PBS, I'd like to thank NADA's Suncoast chapter for making a reality this first ever virtual ceremony of the Silver Circle Award. Words can express the overwhelming sense of humility, gratefulness, and awe that I feel to be selected for this award. Being that many of you are so bright, talented, dedicated, that I can only take this honor on the name of you all. Nothing could have been accomplished without the love, support, and daily nourishing from my parents, who are reunited in heaven. Father Renee Diles, who has been my guidance and pillar of strength since I was a baby and continue today. My dear sister Angela, my family, and all of my friends, my church, my Tai Chi group, looking forward to go back to the park to resume practice. Starting in Bogota in the early 80s, after finishing college, I had the opportunity to begin developing my passion for electronics in the exotic and new field of television. Then by the late 80s, I arrived to Miami as a new immigrant. And shortly after, I knocked at the doors of WPBT. Mr. Grant Simmons and his divisions of 6 engineers welcomed me with open arms to this amazing career that I have been since. I remember in the early years, Gene Talley and I were troubleshooting a satellite amplifier problem in the uplink. Analyzing the diagram, we were interchanging ideas on what the problem could be. Suddenly, I saw a blank expression on Gene's face. He couldn't understand what I was talking about. I realized that I had switched to Spanish, and we just laughed it off. I am so proud of the work that has been done, and everybody is striving to reach all the productions to new heights. From children education and entertaining programs to town meetings, from cooking shows to changing seas documentaries, from Health Channel to South Florida community programs. All this work is an invaluable source of knowledge. And knowledge is power. That's the best contribution that we can make for the world to be a better place. Thanks very much.
Congratulations to our next recipient, Julie Montanaro, WCTV, Tallahassee, Florida. Julie's presenter is Florida A&M University's Assistant Vice President for University Engagement and Alumni Affairs, Carmen Cummings-Martin.
Hello everyone, I'm Carmen Cummings. I'm Assistant Vice President of University Engagement and Alumni Affairs at Florida A&M University and a former main anchor of WCTV's Eyewitness News. First of all, a round of applause to the Suncoast Academy for Television Arts and Sciences for deciding, even amid a pandemic, to salute all of the honorees. I'm also honored and humbled to be a part of this virtual creativity and celebrating a dear friend and honoree, Miss Julie Montanaro. Now, a lot of people admire Julie for that $1 million signature smile, which truly brightens up any room. I love her for that as well. But my bond with Julie Montanaro is much broader than that. Julie and I have been in the news trenches for many, many years. I admire her for her journalistic savvy and prowess and commitment to objectivity. Those elements are all that Julie is as a broadcast journalist. What I remember most about Julie is her commitment to her craft. I remember how she logged the hours and she put in the work. So therefore, I am not surprised at all that she would be among the circle of honorees to earn this award, and we are super proud of her. What makes Julie extra special is her commitment to community and her pursuit for positives in her community. From working in the trenches to support causes like Second Harvest Food Bank, or raising awareness among our viewers about programs assisting those battling sickle cell anemia. Julie is very serious and has been constant in her commitment to her community. That's what I really love about her. Not to mention that she is awesome in the kitchen. She can truly crush a recipe for ham lasagna. I know firsthand because that lasagna was the inspiration, the impetus for the birth of my firstborn. I wish I had more time to tell you about it, but we'll have to talk about that during another show. In the meantime, hearty applause, congratulations, my dear friend. I am super proud of you. Cheers to you, Julie Montanaro. You have earned this prestigious award, and I'm so, so proud of you. And what I love about you most of all is that you continue to be authentic in everything that you do. God bless you, Julie.
Powered by WCTV.tv. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Julie Montanaro.
A lot of people would see Julie outside of the TV station as there's Julie, the TV reporter, but I really think more than anything, they see a friend.
When Julie talked to the camera and those people at home, she was talking to you.
Who the heck is Julie Montanaro?
She's a damn good reporter, I'll tell you that.
You've probably been living under a rock if you don't know Julie Montanaro. Maybe you shouldn't say that, but you know, she's just a household name.
When Julie showed up as a youngster, just graduated from Syracuse University, and I thought, wow, okay, we got a new reporter here, and it did not take long for Julie to make her mark.
It's been more than 5 years since Dan Markell was murdered in his garage.
She has that talent and that ability to go from the hard news story, asking the tough questions, following the police beat, following the crime beat, following the court beat. But when she gets to the tragic part of it, then the compassion comes out. She has the heart, as well as the gut, the grind, you know.
Aside from the friendship, which is so profound, we had a great working relationship. We covered some of the most exciting, fun stories, and then we also tag team on some of the most heinous stories in this community.
She was such a mentor to me, and I know she was a mentor to countless other reporters that have come through the WCTV newsroom. What stands out in my mind for when I was working alongside Julie was the 36 days that we covered the 2000 election debacle that played out in Tallahassee. Satellite trucks as far as the eye could see. And we, as the local lead television news station, were in the middle of it. And we had leverage that other stations didn't have. Julie made those connections with with attorneys, and we got interviews that the national networks couldn't even get.
Florida Governor Lawton Childs was pronounced dead about 4:30 this afternoon.
When we got the call of the passing of Florida's governor, Julie and we went out to do a couple of live shots at the governor's mansion.
So steady stream of dignitaries now beginning to arrive. A lot of them are just getting the news.
And ended up working all night long until daybreak. And so, you know, we were old school. You stuck with the story until the work was done. And so when I referenced the fact that Julie put in the work, she logged the hours, you know, that's not what somebody told me, that's what we lived.
What you see in Julie Montanaro on camera is exactly what you get in person.
She is the same when she is with those that are in need as she is with those that are in the highest positions in our state. That sets her apart.
Julie is a Tallahassee treasure. She has a heart for this town, and it shows in every single thing that she does. Julie was the brainchild of our peanut butter and jelly food drive. I used to be a CEO of Second Harvest of the Big Bend, which is our regional food bank. About 4 or 5 years ago, she came to me with this idea about asking school students all throughout the county to contribute peanut butter and jelly so that we can provide that to kids in need. And it's been a smashing success.
19,469 pounds. This drive has won the National Association of Broadcasters Service to America Award. It recognizes outstanding community service.
It's her community work that really sets her apart, especially for her work with the Christmas Connection. And my goodness, the families that she is responsible for helping and making the holidays happy, it's unbelievable.
The biggest thing is that Julie has such concern and compassion for everything she does.
$65 a minute, that's like $4,000 an hour.
She worked with me on the Jerry Lewis Telethon a lot, but she also did a fantastic job on the Children's Miracle Network, United Way, which was a huge job.
She became the chair of our campaign, and I think it was easy for her because she did care about so much. She wanted it to be successful, and she wanted it to be successful because of the people that we serve and our neighbors.
Julie Montanaro has made Tallahassee a better place.
She loves Tallahassee. That is her family. And I think that really comes through in her reporting and sitting on that anchor desk. And I think people really feel it.
Thank you so much to the Suncoast Academy for this incredible honor, and congratulations to all of the honorees tonight. Thank you to Gray Television, my news director, my general manager, and everyone in the WCTV newsroom. Working as a journalist in Tallahassee has been the greatest honor and the greatest adventure of my life. The community here is as generous and as genuine as it gets, and the stories that I've been able to cover are so vast. There are those big stories, those critical events when people are clamoring for information. And then there are those pinch me scenarios when you're standing somewhere and you're thinking to yourself, how lucky am I to be here? But more often, it's meaningful moments and meaningful conversations that just happen in the course of gathering news day by day. Thank you to everyone who has answered my calls, my knock at the door, and trusted me to tell their stories. 2020 has been a difficult and an extraordinary year with the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement. It's a reminder of just how important local news is and how much our viewers count on us to share local information, local events, and local voices. My sincere thanks to everyone out there who is working right now to get the video, to get the interview, and to share the experience. I am so thankful for my career. It has allowed me to discover the depth and the diversity of our community and really appreciate it. It has opened my eyes and my mind and my heart, and I truly believe it has made me a better person. As a working mom, I spend my share of time in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. And the other day, I was struck by a bumper sticker on the car in front of me. It said, "Find what you love and love what you find." And for whatever reason, I've been thinking a lot about that. I have been so blessed to work in news for the past 31 years, to do that in Tallahassee, and to share this life with my husband, Zach, my daughter, Natalie, my parents, my family, my friends. I have found what I love, and I love what I've found. I pray that each of you watching tonight is safe and well and continue to do work that is meaningful to you and makes a difference in your community. So thank you so much for this Silver Circle Award. It is so sweet.
Thank you for a wonderful afternoon and sharing the special moments of this year's Silver Circle honorees. I would like to thank Carla McDonald and her husband Wayne, Victor Fernandez, Stacy Panson, Matt Conover, and John Mays for helping to make this event a reality. We hope you had a wonderful time, and we hope to see you in person next year. Good night.